Concept denotes realizing something. It's coming into our consciousness that stirs the mind to try to understand it. Concept could be a principle that is presented to be proven or to be refuted. This means there must be steps for others to follow, points to connect, and a logic that the human intellect can surround, can understand. For example, the proven of fine-tuning of key physical forces in the universe, which has allowed human life to exist, proves, for some people at least, the existence of an intelligent designer and maker, God. But concepts could also transcend deductions based on external inputs. A concept could be a notion that the mind conceives from its own depth, often without a clear process. The route is not obvious to the mind, yet the point of arrival materializes. One way is for a spaceship to reach a planet. The spaceship has a route that its machines have registered of how it arrived at the planet. Yet, another way is for someone, a sky gazer, to suddenly see a planet. Here, tracing and registering the route to seeing that planet, to its coming into the gazer's consciousness, is much harder. Yet, the tangibility of the planet to both the sky gazer and the spaceship crew is the same. In some theological circles, the sudden appearance is considered an epiphany, a sort of manifestation. The word manifest carries a majesty, for in it there is the understanding that something was always there, yet was not for the masses to see. At the moment of the epiphany, it does appear for the select. Perhaps the word epi, which means above, gives a subtler meaning. For in epiphany, there is a shining above the viewer. One cannot ignore the hierarchy here, that the observer, the one experiencing the epiphany, is the witness to a gleam of light, to an illumination that takes place above him or her. The viewer, him or her, is beneath. That which is being viewed, that which has manifested, is above. This is why in some schools of thought, the epiphany takes the viewer above. It elevates him or her. In this understanding of the epiphany, the realization by a below of that which is above is only the first step. After that, what is above merges with or merges into what is below. What is viewed comes into oneness with the viewer. The result is that the below evolves to the nature of the above. For the theorists of illumination or al-ishraq, the light of the above seeps into the viewer, not only imparting knowledge on him or her, but crucially in this line of thinking, transforming him or her into the essence of the light that caused the illumination. This is a form of the alchemical transformation or transmutation that several Christian monks talked about. It is also a form of the dual notion of the malakut in Jewish philosophy, particularly that of al-Kabalah or al-Kabalah. The existing material universe is in itself a manifestation of the thinking of the divine. Or in other understandings, the malakut is a manifestation in the thinking of the divine. The point is that the malakut has different yet complementary meanings that unite the above with the below. For some, the Malakut is the creation, the realm of the created, and at the same time it is a manifestation of the Creator, an emanation of the Creator, and a route to the Creator. And through that route, the created finds its way to the Creator. Perfect circle in which the root is within to the center. There is another view of seeing the merger between the below and the higher. What is different is how the higher came to be manifested. Did the below, the viewer, have a process, a route towards its merger with the higher, or did the higher just appear in a phenomenon that for the viewer is but an epiphany? For the believers in randomness, which essentially is chaos, the notion of the Creator was a reflection of the viewer. In other words, the viewer's process of living, here basically humanity's process of living, led to a thinking that led to imagining a notion that the viewer, the human, assumed is the center from which everything originated. Early 20th century psychologists put it smartly. They said that the notion of the Creator, God, was a creation of humans, chaos in form, a reference to the ocean of the human psyche where fears and desires clash. This was partly why modern materialists saw the concept of God as an illusion. But in the conception of a cosmos basically means a harmonious design. In the conception of a cosmos, that merger between the Creator and the created is the essence of the existence we call the universe. In other words, whether, in our original analogy, the spaceship came to a planet and its crew can trace its journey, or the planet appeared to the viewer in an epiphany, the merger between what is above, the epi, and what is below, the viewer, the searcher, created, the human, is a path. And paths have changed throughout history, but they all lead to the eternal truth. The idea of God is different. The idea of God dispenses with the different path. It is about imagining the destination. This means it detaches God from all that is not, even if a believer believes that the created is a reflection of the Creator. Even here, in that view, the idea of God ignores the notion of the reflection and focuses on the essence of the reflected. In Catholicism, this began with discussions about the Trinity. But the thinking here reached its refined heights when it evolved above attempting to explain the Trinity to the masses and tried to imagine the essence of the one behind its different expressions and their connections. In Islam, several thinkers visited the same by focusing on the source. Here, we saw works such as that on the emanations, where the thinking was not concerned with the link between the source and the forms it took so that life in the human form begins, but rather was concerned with the emanations as expressions of the source. The former, the one concerned with the links, is about the methods, the concepts of God in the human intellect. The latter, however, is concerned about the essence of God. The essence defies human understanding. This is a law. And so, for those on journeys for knowledge, the objective is not to grasp the essence, but to see its manifestations, and through these understand some of the characteristics and features of that essence. Goethe, the German philosopher, told us how when he elaborated on what he referred to as active seeing. This is a route towards the idea of God. Here, the idea denotes an internal image of these manifestations, an image in that leads to an imagination of these characteristics and features. And like in the case with Goethe, these attempted imaginations were the points of departure of some of the most creative journeys in the history of humans' search for knowledge. Uneducated minds strive to understand the essence. It is a noble but futile quest, for the law is perfect. It cannot be broken. This is why not trying to really understand the essence of God is a form of understanding. And this is why the objective of the journeys into and for knowledge strive to evolve the image in. The image in, achieved through fertilized imagination, never compensated for understanding the divine, but it stood for it. Here, Epiphany takes its deeper meaning. Epiphany moves from the seeping in of the above into the below and becomes the recognition that the divine is essentially in the human. This makes the human divine. Carl Jung came to this conclusion when he referred to the deepest yet highest aspect of the human psyche as l'homme céleste, the celestial man. Of course, man here refers to man and woman. This realization opens vistas of the nature of the human in front of the understanding of the human. This in itself gives a glimpse of a feature of the idea of God.